I'm going to hand you over to Marilyn. Marilyn, let's have a look because I've got bits of paper everywhere, as always. Now, breaking past ties and regenerating your future. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Oh, Louise couldn't unmute. Did you have something you wanted to ask, Louise, before Marilyn starts? Looks like you can't unmute still. All right, thank you. I'll hand you over to Marilyn. Sorry, I'm jumping about all over the place. Out, Marilyn, I'll hand you over.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Really delighted to be here. I'm just going to bring up my presentation and let's see. There we go. All right. Any second now, that presentation should appear. And I'm going to go into presentation mode. Alrighty. Right. So you should be able to see, and that should be moving, I hope. Wonderful. So this is, as Anne said, the grand finale of the Future Vision Summit. First of all, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being here all this time because it has been a very long day. So I really appreciate that you're all still here. And also thank you for those of you who are watching this as the replay recording. So what we're going to be doing today with regards to this overview session, as Anne said, we're going to be going back into the past, and I'm going to share with you one of my favorite modalities, which is a blend of many of the things that we've been talking about today. And I'm also going to then go out into the future and bring in some of the things that we've been talking about today. So there's a modality that I do called photo reading, and Dr. Paul Sheely, who created it, he has something called the fast finish. And I always love the idea. So what I've been doing as we've been going through the day is writing down some key points and notes which are in alignment and dovetail into what I'm going to be sharing. But part of the closing induction will be a rapid reminder of some of the things you've heard throughout the day and throughout what will be the past 6 hours. So we'll give your mind and your brain a chance to remember and recall what it is you've been hearing and to further cement those in your mind. I'm also going to be using your words and your requests. So thank you very much for sending those in. I've been cutting and pasting them into a document that I can pull up and then go through them systematically. Now, one question I have for you with regards to the two questions that I asked, my question is, how will you know? How will you know when you've released the blocks and the barriers and the limiting beliefs and the things that keep you stuck? And how will you know when you have stepped into and you are regenerating your ideal future? The reason I ask you that question is I cannot tell you how many times over the last 25 years, sat with a client, done some work with them in a session, they come back and say, how's it been going? Oh, well, but they're talking and I'm like, hold on a minute. All the things we talked about last time, they've actually done them. They've achieved them. However, their vision was ta-da, the great big final, finished masterpiece. But actually, they said, let's say they wanted to be calmer, or they wanted to have more peace, or they wanted to be seen, or they wanted to feel supported. And then just as that matter of conversation, I said, oh yeah, someone at work was really helpful and really, they might even use the word really supportive. They don't notice. So I'm always saying to people, notice the green shoots. We've already had the conversation earlier about dopamine, because when you notice those green shoots, you have that feel good factor, you get that serotonin, that dopamine hit, you feel good. And now this is where the momentum and the motivation and the inspiration starts to come from. So always, I would say, appreciate those little things. So when you know how you will know, you can appreciate the journey and the pathway as you go on. So whatever it is you wrote down in terms of something you'd like to clear and something you'd like to achieve and generate, ask yourself, how will I know I've achieved it? And how will I know I'm on the pathway and things are now happening and lining up? And every single time you take a step closer to where you want to be and a step further away from what you've been wanting to get away from, celebrate the heck out of that, because that's going to fire you up to do more. So we've had a lot that's been going on today, so we're just going to do a quick mindset minute. Now, oftentimes I start with the Huna Ha breathing, I'm not doing that today because my noise cancelling on my new-ish webcam is so good, it no longer recognizes the hoo ha breathing. It just treats it as interference and it just kind of shuts it out. So what I've done with the free gift, and we'll tell you all about it later, but included in that is two Huna processes. One for the fire energy, tying in with what Winnie did, and one for Uli, which is the calm. So you can actually hear it. So I am going to be doing Huna today. You're not going to hear it. I'll just tell you that for now. So what we're going to do very quickly, just for 60 seconds, is we're going to do an intention setting. So with all of the wonderful speakers you've heard today, all of the information, what is your intention for this session that we're going to do in the next 55 minutes or thereabouts? And what's your intention also for how you want to incorporate everything you've been doing and learning? And that's it. So you're just going to breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. You're going to keep your mouth shut. There are reasons for that, but it's called nose breathing for obvious reasons. And we're just going to do that for 60 seconds. You can do it eyes open, you can do it eyes closed. So I'd say for the first maybe 30 seconds, you're just breathing, just regrounding yourself for this final segment of the day. And then maybe in that last 30 seconds, you say, okay, what's my intention? What would I love to know, to be, to do, to have, to create, to generate, to manifest like a mofo? I did love that term. It so made me laugh. I was like nearly rolling off my chair when Jojo wrote it. And also, what I'm going to ask of you is, do I have your permission? And do you give yourself permission to do what we're about to do? And one of the things I'm always saying to my clients when we do clearing processes, because I've been doing online coaching, online training, and online therapy with people around the world since 2005. So that's 20 years at this point, well before the old pivot and all the rest of it. But one of the things I'm always asking, because when people make change and transformation, they want like thunder, lightning. That's not always the way we've talked about the nervous system a lot today. That's not always what your nervous system wants or needs. So one of the things I'm always asking is, number one, do you have your permission to do the work? And number two, you give yourself permission to receive the shifts, the changes, the clearings, the transformation in a way that is right and healthy and ecological for you and for your greatest and highest good. So if your system does want a thunderbolt, go for it. But if your system's like, oh, no, 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 I just want something quite subtle and a little shift in that direction, a little shift in that direction, just honor that, but give yourself permission, because we always want that ecology check. Because my thing since the time I started, and I've been doing this since October 2000, is I want to leave the spaces that I'm in and the people that I work with in a better place and a better space than when I walked in that door, be it a real door or a virtual door. And the way we do that is you work with people ecologically. So I'm going to start there. I put the time in purple letters because, as Jacob was saying earlier, time isn't as linear as we think. So once we do the mindset minute, we're going to be going back into the past. We're going to be going out into the future. We're going to be working with the present, the time shifting, time slip, and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to be just weaving all of those wonderful things in. But for starting off, we're going to work with a linear version of time. So our 60 seconds starts now. Here we go. Hold on. And also gently think about, what's your intention? What would you like to know, learn, take away, shift, change, create, regenerate in this final segment for today's Future Vision Summit 2026? And I don't know about you, this is how I always start my monthly coaching group. And I don't know about you, but it just feels like, even though it's just 60 seconds, it's almost like things just go, oh, and there's just a stillness about it because we do it at 6:30 in the evening UK time, so people have often just come from work. So just starting with that minute, you can do that anywhere. And if you've got a really busy day, I say, look, everybody has to use the bathroom, so either do the mindset minute while you're walking to the bathroom, do it while you're sitting on the toilet, or do it while you're walking back. But it's just something from NLP, neuro linguistic programming terms, you call it anchoring. When you anchor yourself into that state, that even though it's just 60 seconds, it can still pack a punch. It is super duper powerful. Now, I'm going to tend to do this in about 2 minutes because I know, looking through the list, there are people here that I've never met before. So for those I haven't met before, my name is Marilyn Devonish, the neuro success coach, rapid transformation specialist, and futurist. And I've been doing what I've been doing for many, many years. So started off very traditional, did a business studies degree, postgraduate marketing diploma, was studying to be a chartered accountant. I realized, as like when I got started, to be a decent accountant, you've got to be able to talk to people, and I did not like public speaking. So ended up by accident, I don't really believe there are any accidents, it was a twist of synchronicity, ended up on a personal development workshop, and was so distraught when I saw that they were doing hypnosis that I actually called them and tried to get a refund. Thankfully, they didn't give me a refund. The rest, as they say, is history. So I'm trained in about 20 different modalities. I'm a practitioner, master practitioner, and trainer of NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy. Of course, I've done future life progression with the incredible Jirsch. I'm a certified photo reading instructor, been doing that since March 2002. And I'm trained in about 20 different modalities, including one of my favorites, which we'll get a taster of today, which is Huna. So went over to Hawaii to study Huna. I'm a soul plan reader, a soul plan instructor. So for those who want to know about destiny, life purpose, etc. And I also, the very first book I co-authored, it was a real book. It's not an ebook. It's on the shelf behind me, was with Dr. Paul Shealy. Some of you might have heard of Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, Chun-Yi Lin, who does Spring Forest Qigong, and business guru Brian Tracy. It was about how do you transform your life. And so I was invited to submit a story. I've been writing for newspapers and magazines since 2003. Started off writing about emotional health and well-being. I was a relationship coach for 9 years. So I had a monthly relationship column with a lovely magazine called Here's Health. I also write for business publications, so things like the Times, Forbes, Guardian, Huffington Post, etc. You name it, I've probably written about it. Leadership, flexible working, remote working. I've been a remote working consultant since 2003. Again, well before anybody had even played with the term, but you name it, I've probably written about it. I also design and deliver corporate workshops, both online and in-house, in person. I absolutely love doing that. It says 50 plus, it's probably more like 100. Sometimes it's standard stuff, communication skills, presentation skills, emotional intelligence. And other times an organization will say, this is the issue we're having, can you design something? And then that's where I'll get my head down and I'll create a workshop that fits that particular need. I love doing that stuff as well. And before anybody then says, because there have been times I've turned up on stage, either in person or virtual, and in person, people actually say it out loud, not so much on online. I've had people say, well, what do you know about trauma? What do you know about lack of confidence? What do you know about, and whatever, insert the thing. And I'm like, okay, let me tell you. So nowadays, if it's groups I haven't met, I tend to tell you. As I mentioned, I was very quiet, I was very shy, lacking in confidence, very low self-esteem, suicidal at age 32. I had early onset Alzheimer's in my mid-20s, and medical treatment had gone wrong. And I always say to people, I didn't do a Lady Gaga. I wasn't born this way. That was my personality right up until the age of 32. And the way I always felt, and the way I then described it when I had the words to articulate it, is that I felt as though I was on the outside looking in. You know, when they talk about it, kid in a candy store where all the kids are inside and the one who hasn't got anything is outside, nose pressed against the glass. That's basically how I felt until the age 32, before stumbling or being dragged into personal development. So it wasn't always this way, and I was terrified of public speaking. I couldn't even speak to my own family. I would get tongue-tied. I lost my voice at one point when I couldn't wheedle my way out of speaking to the team that I worked with every single day and had done for 2 years. It was bad. And so everything I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about it academically. I share it, I do it, I work with clients around it because it works. It worked for me, and I thought, well, maybe it's just me. So let me work with other people. And it's like, no, it's not just me, it just works. So that's why I'm so passionate about personal development. So the first thing we are going to do is see if this one works. I created these animations this afternoon while I'm listening to the other speakers. I wasn't going to do a presentation to all. And I was like, you know, fancy doing a presentation. So I sat and created these. But this one, what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time. And we're going to use, first of all, one of my favorite processes, something called Ho'oponopono, or the forgiveness process. Now, Ho'oponopono is a modality in its own right. And oftentimes when I say Huna, Huna, people have got no idea what I'm talking about. And when I say to them, have you heard of Ho'oponopono? You know, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, which I call the social media version. And they go, oh, yeah. And I go, well, you've heard of Huna. Because Ho'oponopono is one page in the book of Huna. I could bring the folder off the shelf and I could show you the one page of Ho'oponopono. It's powerful. So what we're going to be doing with regards to this one, and again, for those of you who like a little bit of a visual, because when I teach photo reading and accelerated learning, it's about engaging all of the senses. As was said earlier on, not everyone is visual. Not everyone is kinesthetic and in touch with their feelings. Not everyone is auditory. You can give them instructions just like whoosh in one ear, out the other. And some people are very, very analytical. So you say visualize, they're like, what? You know, so, but for those of you who want a little bit of a little boost in the visual direction, what we're going to be doing with this particular process, Ho'oponopono, is about our energetic, what we call arca connections, the connections that we have with the people, places, and things that we come into contact with. And the premise is that every single thing you touch, so I touch the brain, touch this, touch my favorite pen that I've had for about 500 years, the glass of water, there's an arca connection between me and that. There is also an arca or energetic connection between all of us. And sometimes those connections are negative. So what we want to do is cut those old energetic ties and connections, clean them up, seal them off, and then we recreate them. So one of the Ho'oponopono means to make things pono, or to make things right. And that then ripples out into everything else that you tend to do in your life. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then we're going to do it. In your mind's eye, whether you see it, hear it, feel it, imagine it, or just go, I can intellectually imagine what it would be like if I could see a stage and I was looking down on it. Because sometimes, like if you're like me, when I first started out, when I closed my eyes, it is simply dark. There's nothing, there was nothing else going on in there. So however you do it, whatever senses, whatever modalities you use that. Everything is right and perfect. You are going to imagine that you're looking down on this stage, and you call onto the stage the people, the places, the things where you want to release, where you want to let go, where you want to clear that energy. And they all arrive on the stage. And these will be some of the things that people have sent through, which I'll then cycle through those as we go through this process as well. Invite them onto the stage and you thank them for showing up. Like, hey, cool, lovely to see you. Great. And this is when you say thank you, it goes to all of them collectively. You're not having to do it individually, because there could be thousands of people, things, and stuff on there. So they all come on stage, boom, they arrive. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you just get a sense, sometimes you just get an intellectual knowing. But this is anything in the past where you want to clean up the energy, or you actually want to cut those old links and ties and connections. So what Astrid was saying, that sometimes the work that she does, people will leave their marriage, change their jobs, etc. That's very common. When I go into doing executive coaching, I often say to the person who's the lead, who's commissioning it, please be aware that some of the people that we coach, they will leave, or they'll be looking for a promotion. Why? Because they're empowered, because they suddenly reconnect with themselves. They have a sense of who they are, what they want to do, what they're capable of. And then they go, oh, I've been in this little box. I want to get out. So this is the thing where, if you like, anything that's been constraining you, holding you back, where you feel it's time to let it go, where you've got the learnings. This is important, because if you haven't got the learnings, it's a bit like being on the hamster wheel. The same lesson keeps on coming back again and again and again. You're like, what the heck is going on here? So you want to be in a place where you've got the learnings for whatever it is. So they're all lined up on the stage. What you're going to do then is you will imagine, again, this is all about playing with the mind, the imagination, the senses, etc. And you imagine a blade of white light is going to come down in front of you and behind you, to your left and to your right, above your head and beneath your feet. And it's swirling around you and it's cutting all of those old links and ties and connections. As those links and ties and connections fall away, you thank everyone for what they brought into your life. Now, sometimes the immediate reaction is, well, why would I thank them for that? Trust me. Look, a realization I had when I got into personal development, because I was sexually abused from the age of 7 to 17. Up until the age of 32, there was no forgiveness, not a grain of forgiveness in my heart. I just had it was all stored inside. And I told myself that I was over it, that I'd put it behind me. Really clear. No, it was all inside, and it was like a tinderbox. It was just waiting, like a jack in the box, just waiting to leap out. And it can go either way. The way it went with me is I went very internal, because I didn't want anyone to see the darkness and to see the guilt and the shame and all of those things that I carried inside. So I kept people at arm's length as well. For other people, it will manifest in, they might be very promiscuous and very, they're always the one who's getting in trouble. I was completely the opposite. I just went inside. So when this conversation came up in October 2000 about forgiveness and letting go, I was like, oh God, I'm in with a room full of tree huggers, because that's how I would have perceived people who were into this sort of stuff. And I was very scathing, to say the least. And then I suddenly thought, it's like that thing where if you're drinking poison and expecting the other person to be sick, it's like, it doesn't work that way. If there was something infectious in this glass, and I'm drinking it, the other person who did the abusing, they could be in the Bahamas for all I know, having a good old time. And here's me carrying the weight of all this stuff. So suddenly it was like, whoa, hold on. This isn't forgiveness for them. It's for me. It's for me to let go of the weight that I'm carrying. It's for me to let go of the weight, the way that it impacts me. And once I've done that, that then gives me a sense of perspective. Now, that said, this isn't a breakthrough session. So I'm not suggesting you're bringing anything that heavy to the table. I would say whatever it is you put into that questionnaire form, start there. Or you can just choose something that's low-hanging fruit. Bunmi was talking about the feelings of the nervous system, the always being on, or actually being the other way, and where you just can't be bothered to do anything. So you might just put energy or lethargy or demotivation onto the table. So you don't have to bring anything big and heavy. This is just our starting point to start to free up that energy. So if you haven't had a drink of water and you have some handy, you haven't had a drink of water in the last 15 to 20 minutes, I definitely suggest having a drink of water, because it's a really good idea to be hydrated. And if you're watching this as a replay recording, of course, you can press pause and go and get some water if you don't have any handy. So, let me pull up these questions as well. Ooh, good job I told you to do this, because they're on my desktop. Of course, I can't see my desktop now because I'm in full screen on PowerPoint. So, woohoo! I'm so glad we had the online form. So just take a deep breath in and exhale. And if you choose to, you can just gently close your eyes. I like to close my eyes with this stuff. It just blocks out distractions, but you can do it eyes open, eyes closed, entirely up to you. And just take a moment to notice the in-breath, notice the out-breath, and relax your breathing. And imagine there's this beautiful, wonderful wave of relaxation that starts at the top of your head and is cascading all the way down to the bottom of your feet like a healing, cleansing waterfall. And it's already picking up anything in your nervous system which no longer serves you, where you've got what you need to know, to learn, to take away, and you can now just do an Elsa and just let it go. And it's almost like being in a sonic shower. All of this stuff just falls away. And then in your mind's eye, you are going to imagine that you are above, you're in a meta position where you're looking down on this wonderful, gorgeous stage, and you can see every aspect of the stage. And you are now inviting onto the stage all the people, the places, the things that you have a bit of an issue with, or there's some unfinished business, or it's time to release, resolve, let go, or clean up that relationship. And they all just arrive like that, as if by magic, right there on the stage. And whether you consciously know who every single person is, or you just have an intellectual knowing, an insight, a thought, a feeling, maybe even a whisper of a word, however you choose to do it is right and perfect. So you're thanking all of these people for showing up today. And you're also thanking them for everything they have brought into your life, because they would have, in part, had a little bit of a part to play in who you are today, the way you've grown, the way you've developed, the way your life is unfolding, the things that you've discovered about yourself. So just taking a moment to energetically and mentally thank them for everything they have brought into your life. And then you're asking all of them, are you willing to support me as I continue? And for those who say yes, that is amazing. For those who say no or are not responsive, that's amazing too. And you're also reminding yourself, either consciously or outside of your conscious awareness, of all the wonderful learnings, the gifts, the lessons of these experiences. And you get that sense of the energetic connection that runs between you and them. And you imagine there's a wonderful blade of white light coming down in front of you and behind you, to your left, to your right, above your head, beneath your feet, and you're cutting all of the old energetic ties and connections. And this doesn't mean you're cutting anyone off or out of your life. You're cutting the old connections so that you can refresh, such that as and when it is time for those connections to be remade, which can be in an instant just by thinking about someone, you come at it from a fresh, clear, clean, healed perspective. And also sending a sense of mutual love and appreciation and gratitude and forgiveness to every single person on the stage. And then imagine, having cut those energetic ties and connections, you're sealing those connections off with that sense of mutual love and appreciation and gratitude and forgiveness. And you reclaim your energy, they reclaim their energy, and you now command that they all leave the stage, taking the old baggage with them. And then also you imagine, as you release the past, you're going to now be spring cleaning anything else that's been on your mind or in your neurology. So letting go, even memories buried so deep, where it's time for them to now be released, even if they're outside of your conscious awareness, letting those go now. Letting go of the old situations, letting go of the repeating patterns, letting go of memories long since forgotten, which have been weighing down parts of your psyche. Letting go of the limiting beliefs that have been stopping and blocking and holding you back, if you know it is now time to release them, whether they're conscious or not. Letting go of those old financial limitations, blockages with money, blockages with receiving, blockages with giving. Letting go of the generations of abuse and the belief that it is not safe and that you can't leave an abusive relationship. And also asking your inner mind to tap into your inner wisdom and show you how to be safe even without the abuse. letting go of feeling guarded around people. However, you want your inner mind, your higher self, to work with you, to let you know, sharpen your intuition, so you know who it's safe to have in your energy field, and you know those where energetically you should close the door. Because when you know that you are safe, you are protected, the universe has your back, then that is when your nervous system knows that it is time and it's okay for you to let the old guards down. And letting those guards down, it's one of the things that does keep the nervous system running and running and running. So just asking your unconscious mind, your inner mind, your higher self to now work with you to allow you to know who and what is safe and right for you. And letting go of that feeling of always preparing, always planning, but never actually putting things into action. Let go of the feeling of not being truly loved. Because as many of the speakers have talked about today, and Jacob in the session just before the last one was also talking about the fact that it's not about calling in your higher self. Your higher self is already there. And you know that your higher self has got your back. Also start to play with the idea that the universe has got your back, whatever your term is for the universe. If you're religious, thinking about the deities that are part of that and reminding yourself that they too have your back and that you are loved and you are cared for, even if there's not a physical person standing right in front of you. And also letting go of the blocks and barriers around money. And the blocks and barriers about not being able to see your future, not being able to see where you're heading, and that sense of being lost, that sense of being in the wilderness. And just letting all of that go now in a way that is right and healthy and ecological for you and for your greatest and highest good. Always keeping your sense of balance, your sense of self, your sense of safety at the core of your being, and doing things at a rate and a pace that is right for you. And then imagine in your mind's eye that that stage just completely disappears. Now it's like an IKEA flat pack and it just goes and just disappears. And it might be that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It might be that it just goes up in a puff of smoke. But as it disappears, it takes all of that old energy with it now. And then what you're going to do is you are going to imagine that you are looking out into your future, free of the old baggage. And as you start thinking about feeling into the future, experiencing the future, dipping a toe in the future, just notice what it's like to move forwards now without all of the old emotional baggage as you regenerate your future. And as you're looking out into the future, just notice, what do you want to create and generate for yourself? What do you choose to now allow yourself to be, to do, to have? And just take a moment to think about that. And think about it from the future perspective of someone who doesn't have all the old stuff that you've just left in the past. And choose one thing, the first seed that you would like to plant in your future. And roll it around in your mouth. Say it. What's the thing you'd like to plant in your future? If you're in a position where you can do so, say it out loud. Notice how it sounds. Notice how it feels. Notice how it resonates with your neurology as you say it. I'd love to, this is a seed I'd like to plant now that's going to regenerate in the future and also start connecting you with the ultimate best version of you. And if you choose to, just take a moment to write it down. write down what's the thing you would absolutely love to be, do, have, create, generate in your future. And it can just be fun to go with the first thing that comes to mind rather than overthinking it and making it a big old drama. And then with regards to that, what would it feel like to have the thing that you've just written down? And with this process, we're going to be working with your future timeline and also connecting in with the energy of the ultimate best version of you. So just thinking about time as a continuum. How does it work? How does it play out? And as you think about the future, what would you absolutely love to be, do, have, create, generate? And holding that word, holding that vision in mind. And then imagine you're taking that first step into your future. Now, what you can do with regards to this one, again, you can do it eyes open or eyes closed, but you're going to imagine that the thing that you want to create and generate, almost like you can hold it in your hands. It will be like holding, well, this is a bit big, but holding a gem. This is the thing. And with this, you're going to imagine, first of all, that you go out into the future and you plant the seed so it can then be there to take shape. So let's just say, for example, you're planting the seeds of love, of self-care, protection, nurturing, and you love crystals. You might imagine this is a rose crystal heart, for example. So you can bring it to life in tangible ways. But whatever it is, you imagine taking whatever that is that you want to create and generate in the future. Imagine planting the seed out into the future, and then as an observer, you're going to watch it start to take shape. You're going to watch it start to grow. And as it starts to take shape and grow, you are then going to be calling in the energy of your future self, the ultimate best version of you, who's already walked this path, who's already done these things. And you're going to say, okay, ultimate best version of you, what would you suggest in terms of how I now more fully step into the future that I want to create and generate? And just have a moment of dialogue with your future self about how that can now come to pass. So you can take a deep breath in and exhale. And again, if you choose to, you can gently close your eyes. And this time round, you imagine that you're floating up above now. So you might feel and imagine as though you're floating. You might imagine that the ground beneath you is moving further and further away. And if you're quite analytically like, yeah, whatever, I'm floating, whether you see it, hear it, feel it, or none of the above. And then imagine holding in your hands the thing that you'd like to plant into the future. Now, it might be one of the messages or the words or the symbols or the signs that you received from one of the speakers earlier. But whatever it is, imagine you hold it in your hand. So you're observing it, and then imagine floating out into your future. And you can decide the time, the place, the space, the date, and then letting it go. It floats down into your future timeline as though you're planting a future seed. And just be the observer watching it float down into your future timeline. And just think about what it might be for you. And if I say something, you think, oh, I'll have a bit of that as well, then of course you can say, plant that seed for me too, please. So it might be that you might have aspirations and you're choosing now to be running a hotel or the center that you envision, working with other people, whatever it is you're choosing to work with them on. It could be that you're looking and you're planting the seed for true love and connection that is equal on both sides. You could be planting the seeds of being an animal healer, having your own business. You've taken that first step. You've booked the diploma course, and you have the strength, you have the courage, you have the momentum to see it through, and not just see it through and you blow the doors off the place and you are a natural healer. It may be that you're planting the seed of feeling supported and understood, and being able to accept love into your life and knowing that it is safe to do so, and attracting the people who will love you just as fully in a really beautiful, healthy way. You could plant the seed of being free, safely out of the relationship that you want to leave. You've had a smooth, easy divorce. You have the financial wherewithal, the money, the wealth, the security to look after yourself, support your children. That real, true sense of freedom, both physical freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom. And you see yourself also, you might plant the seed of seeing yourself launching your own offers, creating exciting new products and trainings, and transitioning from corporate work into a career of this wonderful future vision work and FLP. And you might be planting the seed of being more fully present, planting the seed of being in alignment, of achieving the things you want to achieve, planting the seed of peace, and that wonderful knowing and realization that you have made a difference in the world. And planting the seed of knowing who you are and who and what you are destined to be, that sense of fulfillment, that sense of purpose, and being filled up and overflowing with what you're here to do on this earth. And also planting the seed of safety, of security, of health, vitality, well-being, your version of success, the energy of being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people in the right way. And also planting the seed of wealth consciousness, where you're getting better with money, you're getting better with manifesting. I've got to say it, manifesting like a mofo. I just love that term. And just think of how joyful it is to do the things you want to do in a way that you choose to do them. This or something even better. And just now allow all of those seeds to take shape, to take root, blessing them all. Giving yourself permission and the encouragement, the support to take the first step in creating and regenerating your future. And then imagine floating back towards now, coming back up above now in the time and the place and the space that you are in. And imagine just floating back down inside of yourself. And as you do, you notice that just in the background, your future self gave you a little message secretly. Maybe slipped it into your metaphorical pocket or put it into the center of your heart or into the middle of your mind and your brain. So if you were to know now, what's the message that your future self has given you as a reminder to bring back into the present? And it might be that it comes to you straight away, or it might be that it unfolds over the coming hours, days, weeks. However, you will know when you know, because it will have such a feeling of lightness, of joy, of love, and you'll just know that's the message for you. And so bringing your self back into the place and the space that you're in, the room that you're in. You might notice the sounds around you. You might notice the contrast in light, even if your eyes are closed. You might notice the temperature, any smells, any aromas that are around you. And then at a rate and a pace that is comfortable for you, take a deep breath in and exhale. And if you've had your eyes closed, you can gently open your eyes. And if you're sitting down, you might want to just stamp your feet. If you're lying down, you can pat up and down your arms or the chest just to bring yourself back into the here and now. And then one of the things I would say is this stuff, it's just so wonderful. It just continues to swirl and unfold in the most magical ways. So this is a little game you can play, and you can do this for this session. And it's something that I borrowed from my photo reading workshop. I use it in my monthly coaching groups because I call it a quick and dirty one. It's quick, but it works brilliantly. So you can just start thinking about, we've been here now for the past nearly 6 hours. What is something that has been good and or new for you? So it could be something that was good, could be something that was new, or it could be a combination of both. What's been good and or new? Because what that does, it cements in your mind that you've had that first bit of change and shifting momentum. So what's been good, what's been new? And you can put that into the chat as something comes to mind. And it's a lovely one. I call it home play. It's a really nice one. You can say what's been good and or new today, or what's been good and or new this week, or what's been good and or new this month, what's been good and or new this quarter. And what it does, it reminds you that there's some good stuff and there is some new stuff happening. Sometimes you just got to take the time and the lever to remind yourself. This has been my logo since early 2001. And the person who designed this logo for me, I believe she is here today. You know who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is still my logo. It is still my business card. That was the original version. This is what it looks like now. And for me, this work was always about the magical ripple effect, where I used to do just 1 day breakthrough sessions back in there, where somebody comes in at 10 o'clock in the morning, we work till 5 o'clock, their whole life is changed and transformed in a day. Thank you very much and good night. And so for me, the 1 day breakthrough session was the catalyst to changes rippling throughout their entire life. So one of the things I always say, this is a card from my coaching deck: notice what you notice. I say that at the end of the breakthrough sessions, and people, they're like waiting for me to finish the sentence. I don't finish the sentence. Notice what you notice. It puts your senses, your neurology, your intuition on high alert. And it's like, okay. So I just say remain open. Have the expectation of success. The things, there's a woman called Esther Hicks who channels a being called Abraham. One of her sayings is, everything is always working out for me. I love that saying. So you just have the expectation that things are working out for you. Let it go. Don't be, if you plant a seed, you're not going to be in the garden every 5 minutes digging it up going, is it grown yet? Is it grown yet? Is it grown yet? Because it's never going to grow. So you plant the seed, do what you need to do to nurture the seed, and then you let it go. And so a little bit of action, future focus. What do you commit to doing as a result of today? Now, it could be one thing. What do you commit to doing with this wonderful information for whichever speaker it is? Schedule it, celebrate it, achieve it. And when you achieve it, celebrate it. And just to give you a fast finish, let's do this. Let's see how quickly we can do this. Some of the key points, things to remember. We opened with Winnie, the wonderful phoenix purification, the rebirth, the sunflower symbol, the releasing the thing that is no longer related to us. We have Jen with the marketing, so that's Jennifer Taylor, gaining an energy change. What do you want to lose? What do you want to gain? So that's us in the past, that's us in the future. She's like, it's talking about the little kind of sound bites, sharing, saving, healing the younger self, and building a new world from new world thinking. We have Maria Morris with the aligned self, the earth, the sensations. What message is there to help you right now? Remembering to connect with the best version of you. That's where those wonderful insights can come from. Being unified to connect with the best version of you. And what do you commit to become? So this is similar to what I'm saying here. There was the wonderful golden scroll. There was a pen. Some of you might now be going, oh yeah, the scroll. So there was a wonderful golden scroll, the pen. And if you weren't here, go back and watch that session. And doing the whole thing about honoring your path. We had Katie talking about future vision coaching, conscious planning of your future, your life purpose. What are you going to change to truly thrive? What are some of the blocks that you're going to release? We had Louise Baker. The future is a stranger, talking about neuroscience, mental time travel, a wonderful guided process talking about making those healthier choices, understanding more about how the mind, the brain, the neurology works. We had Ray Calnan, and I should say Winifred Carnero. I just said Winnie because sorry, I call her Winnie. Winifred Carnero opened a show because I'm using people's surnames, but because I know Winnie, I called her what I normally call her. I apologize. So Ray Calnan, reconnect with your inner knowing, recalling the message from your future self. Again, you might have got the message that Ray was talking about straight away, or it might be that it just kind of bubbles up as you're going about your day-to-day business. We had Jojo, the quantum seeker, your multi-dimensional soul life. Reconnect your higher codes, channeling those wonderful guardians and beings. That was amazing. Letting go of untruths, which is that whole thing of going back into the past and releasing. Um, and reminder that you are a warrior of light. We have Olubunmi, regulating your nervous system, doing that through FLP, future life progression, how to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, exploring the timelines, accessing your sense of purpose, what needs to happen, all those wonderful things, creating those new neurological pathways. The more you run those positive pathways, the more they strengthen. I'm totally in agreement with her. I'm not a happy clappy, let's just read an affirmation person either, but running those neurological pathways is a powerhouse. Right, I've got about 2 minutes. We had Jacob, your highest timeline. Connect to your higher self. Remind yourself of the message from your higher self. He talked about taking a breath, which is how we started this particular session, reminding you that the past isn't as linear as we think, and also having those wonderful chakras aligned. And then we had Astrid with the, hold on, someone's just entered. Let me just do that. We talked about, Astrid Harms was talking about hypnosis, the deep brain state, disconnecting that old unconscious thinking, noticing the contrast of your thoughts, and knowing that you can change things, change your health by changing that. So with all of that wonderful information, we're not going to do it now, but as a bit of home play, think about what's one thing you commit to doing with all of the incredible information that you've heard. Schedule it in. When you achieve it, celebrate it, and by all means, share it in the FLP group. We would love to hear from, if you're not in the FLP group, tag myself at Marilyn Devonish, MarilynDevonish. Tag and Jirsch. We would love to hear it. So if you've got any final questions, queries, the who, what, when, where, put them in. And final thing I'm going to say almost, choose a power word for what you'd like to create and generate this year. Just one. I know for some of you who are like me, who are doing 50 gazillion things at once, you like a lot of stuff. Choose one word. And you don't need to choose it right now, but it might be something comes to you. But choose a word for what you choose to create and generate this year, and make that word. Let's say one year I chose joy. So I'd say to myself in the morning, what can I do to bring more joy into my life today? What can I do to be more joyful? What is something I can do that brings me joy? And you just play with that word and just bring it into your neurology. I'm very easy to find. I'm on all the usual social platforms. I'm even back on LinkedIn. They booted me off previously, but I'm back like Arnie. And so my email is Marilyn, Marilyn at transformationstm.com. That's TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance. I'm a hypnotherapist. So TRANCEFORMATIONS, TM as in trademark.com. Ignore the blog at the moment. It's like under reconstruction. I'm at Marilyn Devonish on all of the social channels, apart from Instagram, where it's the Neuro Success Coach. So it has been my absolute pleasure. Oh, I did something fancy there. Do a Pomodoro session sometime in the next 2 to 3 days. I know it's the weekend, maybe even just 5 minutes to implement something from this. And thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, thank you all for showing up, for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Anne Jirsch for creating Future Life Progression, organising this wonderful summit. It's been an absolute pleasure to be part of it. And Anne, I will hand it back to you. Oh, you're muted.
It's the only way I can shut myself up, because otherwise I talk too much when everyone else is supposed to be talking. That was so, so good, Marilyn. It was really, really good, because I'm not good at forgiving. I'm not good at forgiving. I know you're supposed to forgive, but I'm not good at it. I've seen somebody's done something bad. I don't particularly want to forgive them. But the whole saying, "Oh yeah, great," and sending them on their way, that actually worked, and it felt like a clean slate. It kind of released me. I felt like it released me, and I can just go and do other things. Because a lot of people I see out of obligation, or you've known them a long time or whatever. And yeah, it just changed something. Yeah, that definitely changed something. That's really interesting. I'm kind of processing, but that was really, really, really lovely day. Thank you, Marilyn. That was great. That was so many good speakers, so much great information. As a lot of people are going to watch it later. I think I had about 25% of people message me to say they're watching it later. I had 70% of people that registered actually opened it to make sure it was working like early this morning. So I know they're people that are going to watch it later. But that was so good. I'm going to be compiling all the information.
Oh yeah,
That,
my offer. I've got my
yeah,
free gift
yeah,
bag.
yeah.
Yeah, before while we remember. So yeah, feel free to tell them about the offer as well. That'd be fab. I'm going to go
Mm.
through the chat and see if there's anything.
Yeah, what is your offer?
Okay, so the offer is I put together a free a virtual gift bag. So you've got a couple of Huna recordings because Huna doesn't work on, as I've explained earlier. I did a guided timeline therapy process as well. There's a channeled reading for the year ahead. And there was something else, and there's also the opportunity. I'm starting the year two. I've got an online coaching group, so we're just starting year two of that. So if you wanted to see if it's a good fit for you, I've set it up so it's £8.88 if you wanted to do a one-off session, or $12, which is the equivalent, and you can see if it's a good fit. And then from there, it starts at, if you just want to come to the online sessions rather than the one-to-one coaching, it starts at, I think it's £18 a month. But yeah, so come along and do a try before you buy. But yeah, so all of the virtual stuff is in the goodie bag. You just put your name and email address in, it opens up a page, and you just literally press play. And I've also, that's it as well. If you'd like, for the first 20 people who do the download, if you'd like an extract of your soul plan reading, where I'm going to look at your spiritual challenges and also what you can do to overcome some of those spiritual challenges. There are 7 aspects of the soul plan. We're just choosing that one because the spiritual challenges tend to come in around after the age 35, 40. So when I speak to people now who are in their 50s, 60s, etc., the spiritual challenges are really coming to the fore. So if you want a free extract, I have to do it for the first 20 because it's a physical process, and I will need your full birth name as it appears on your birth certificate, and then I'll send you your specific spiritual challenge and some of the things you can do to overcome the challenge, and Anne will send out all the links. So thank you, Anne.
I
Back
will.
to you.
Yeah, so good. So I'm going to be in touch with all the speakers, tell them what information I've got, and see if they want to add to it because so much good information. And I'm going to do an offer. So if you're wondering whether to come on the Future Vision coaching training or having coaching with me, because I have regular people that I coach, help them develop their ideas, see what's missing. I'm going to, and I don't usually do this, I'm going to offer a free half hour. I won't be able to do it for loads of people, but if you want a free half hour, we'll just have a chat, see where you are, talk about what I've got on offer and see if it's a fit. If you want that, just message me. As I say, I don't usually do anything. You know, people do taster sessions for free. I don't usually, but I just think with this, it'd be nice just to have a half hour chat, have a cup of tea, and see if it's a fit, see if it'd work for you. So I'm going to offer that out. So it can be either for the coaching training or private sessions. Okay, that's my offer. So oh my goodness, so many good speakers.
And Anne,
And
I'm just going to
yeah,
say one tiny thing, if I
yeah,
may,
yeah.
about your offer, because I've done your future life progression training. I've done a tarot reading with you and that sort of thing. One of the things I'm going to say, over the last 25 years, I'm trained in over 25 different modalities. I've worked with some incredible trainers. I've mentioned a few of their names today. I love them all. They're amazing. And Anne is one of those trainers who does not hold back. It's not a bait and switch. She's going to give you all of the information and then some because she genuinely wants her practitioners to succeed, which is one of the reasons this has come about. Because those of you who are in the FLP group and went straight out when we were talking about putting this together and wanted to give people a platform. So Anne is one of the most generous trainers I have
Oh,
ever
thank you.
met, and will give you all of the info. As you know, she's straight talking. She's very straight talking today, which is one of the other things I love about her. But if you get the opportunity to work with Anne, I would say grab it with both hands. So sorry to interrupt. Back to you, Anne.
No, thank you. And the next future vision coaching. This is for people that want to take other people and help them see where they're going wrong, see how they can create something better. I put the coaching together because there's so many brilliant therapists who are not making progress or they're doing a bit and they're really good and they don't know what's missing and they don't know. And I've had the benefit of amazing people coaching me, giving me advice. I've still got top notch. I've got one of my people that coaches me. I was speaking to him yesterday, and is world class. He's made people from nothing to be household names. He's just brilliant. But I've got a whole bank of people that have guided me, and I've got a really good intuition. I can see people's brilliance. I really can. When I'm working with people, I can see their magic. I can see it. I can see what they don't see. So the coaching is the next one, and that'll be 8th to 10th of May. So it'll be over 3 days. I'll probably do it on American, maybe do it on American time. But I really want to do this. I really feel too many people have spent a fortune on training. They're bloody good and they're not actually being where they should be. So that's what I'll be doing. So that's my next one. Love to see you there. But hit me up if you want half hour and we'll have a cup of tea and we'll have a look at where you are and see if I'm a fit. But I'm really grateful you've shown up, that you're here and been here all this time. It's been a long day. You probably all need a nice cup of tea now. But we will work together again. There'll be more. We will be in touch.